All right, let's talk about the Mystic. The Mystic is by Recovery Effects, and it is a little drone synth. It's got two oscillators, and then like a whole modulation section, and then a little delay. And I just side note, I love the delay because it's like the little crappy one that will like self oscillate on itself, so it'll just get super gnarly. And then it's got some Euro rack inputs too, so you can put stuff in and affect it, and it also has this little function where you can flip it up and the drone will just be on all the time, or you can flip it down and it has a little button, a really nice feeling push button. And you can, as you push it, sound comes out. So you can get like really rhythmic. You can hear it.
That was fun improvising
Yes.
both of those.
Yes. And I have Mike with me.
Hello.
Mike is here. And yeah, so you're going to be seeing some B roll right now, but it is just so freaking pretty, like pretty minimalistic, but like what they did aesthetically for the design is just so cool. It's this black with the gold, and even there's little star inlets, and below it are LEDs that shine through, which I thought was like so cool.
Love that thing.
And even the back too, like
Yeah, the back is sweet.
yeah, like why take the time to do that? But like I love it. I appreciate it so much, like attention to detail. Yeah, just feels great. So you got to play with it a little bit. What did you think about it?
I thought that thing sounded awesome. It was definitely not like really any other guitar pedal that I have played with that I know of, where it could affect the pitch in that way, where it had like, what's it called when like it's like there's a frequency and it's making a pitch, and then one of those, I think it's a modulation or modulator, or
Yeah, so
it's like it's almost like a sweep kind of a sound. Like,
right.
what is that?
Yeah, so I think what you're talking about, because there's like two oscillators and they can affect each other. So that's called FM synth or frequency modulation, which I'm pretty sure this is doing. Actually, I'm gonna have to look it up just in case it's wrong, but I'm like 99% sure it is. So yeah, like the second oscillator will kind of be the main pitch, and the other one will affect it and like add harmonics to it.
Yeah,
Yeah, so you can do like sweepy stuff. Yeah.
sounded awesome.
And then on top of that, there's the modulation, which is like the LFO, like just doing weird, getting real weird.
And then the rate, how you could make
Yeah.
you could affect it rhythmically with that.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, you can kind of think of like a tremolo, and like you can go you can go like super slow with that, or crank it up almost to where it's audible, which is nuts. Yeah, and then you couple that with the delay, and it's like you're getting like some really rhythmic stuff, some really weird stuff. Yeah, so when I made that music video you just watched, I didn't use it in its like intended form. I sampled it. I got like a perfect C going on. I used a little tuner on Ableton, and then sampled that and made my own instruments with it. So I was able to do chords and stuff. and I recorded a couple different takes of it, like still just in C, but like with one just flat, then one with some modulation, or actually a couple with modulation, and then like different delay times too, to just bring more interest into it. And then even at some point, because this thing can get really crazy, really wild feeling, um, I had a patch that I was messing with that was just like nonsense, just like crazy, gargly beautifulness. But I took a sample of that, I took a little cut of that, and then I used an auto panner to make it a rhythmic, like a basically like a hi hat. I turned it into like a hi hat, but it's like a glitchy, weird hi hat, which I thought added a little bit more interest to it. And then I even made like a lead part, and then of course used more effects on that too with Ableton, like more delay and reverb and maybe even some distortion. I honestly can't remember now. What would you rate it on a scale of 11?
Um, hmm.
Honest answers. Don't worry about it. Let it rip.
I mean, I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 11, and that's not because 7 is a low number on the scale, but I think it's a mystical number,
Oh.
and so that is why I give it a 7. Because the score doesn't count anyways, and so it's really more of a feeling.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say I'll give it like a 8.5. Yeah. I feel like it's a great little utility box to have. It's definitely not gonna be like your main thing, but it's not intended to be. Like it's intended to be like a goofy thing that you're like, let me just turn some knobs for a minute. And then, because especially too, like how we make music is, me and Mike have been playing for a while, and we've been making songs and stuff. And a lot of it is just like, oh, I have this riff or I have this like rhythm part. Let me, let's record it. Let's put it down. Let's put a drum beat to it. And then after that, it's like, okay, is there a lead part? Or like, we were messing with one song and it had, I did a whole lead part with the blooper, like
Yeah.
using one of and it's like kind of like that kind of feel. Like, okay, we have the song and everything going. Let's add some, like this song needs some weird stuff. Try to keep like a simple beat, but then I would just get like really weird or like really loud. But you would like mimic that and you would get like crazy and like crank up the modulation rates and like,
Oh, the dynamics was fun, like
yeah,
build ups and
yeah,
having like these big crescendos, and then you could like bring it back down. It made me think about playing a little bit differently. It's
yeah,
cool.
yeah,
It was like a kind of freeing in the sense of like, okay, I don't have to play the notes in a chord or like trying to think of, oh, how do I'm trying to do major or minor or
just like
pentatonic
scale. Yeah.
like just thinking about the note and feeling a melody and try and create something that like you really wouldn't do on a guitar or maybe another instrument. It's fun to branch out on.
Yeah, yeah, and I think you hit on a good point of like it's freeing. Like there's no way to worry about pitch because it's so random. So it like puts your brain in a different space.
Like it's making a cool sound no matter what.
Yeah,
Just how are you going to shape it?
yeah,
Shape that air.
yeah, and yeah, like okay, I'm not worried about, oh, am I playing a D sharp right here? It's like, no, does it sound cool or not?
Yeah. Do you like it?
Yeah. Do you like it? Yeah. No? Okay, start twisting some more knobs. Oh, you like it now? Cool. Now let's like now twist a knob and bring some chaos in and try to find that again and like
Yeah.
yeah.
And it did that really well. Like you could get into something chaotic, and it wasn't like sometimes with like a guitar pedal, like a delay based time or like a
Time-based effect.
yes,
Yeah,
like a
yeah, yeah.
delay pedal, where sometimes when you get like this cool like tail, and then you turn the pedal off, and it's just an abrupt stop. I liked how everything kind of like you could fade everything in and out really cool.
Yeah. And then yeah, I just kind of want to take a second to talk about recovery effects themselves. I think it's really cool. It's just a two-person team. They're a couple. Um and yeah, they just like make cool stuff. Like we were watching their TikToks before we got on here, and they do a lot of like behind the scenes stuff and showing what's going on. They do like Q&As, and I really appreciate it. And I'm like stoked to do this video because I'll be honest, I'm not on TikTok or TikTok. Well, I'm on TikTok a lot, but I'm not on Instagram as much as I once was, so I don't see a lot of stuff, but I also don't see a lot of this.
No,
Like,
that's unique.
yeah, it's like its own thing, and there's a lot of people, especially in the Euro rack space, that love drones. I was showing you earlier the Soma, which is like the $800 drone synth, which is amazing, but this is like less than half that, and like I would say, you know, really worth it. Um, like the little brother of it, or like the weird, like goth cousin of it. Or something. And then I wanted to take a second to talk about the music video. Um, if you guys would like, I can make a whole video about the behind the scenes of that. But that was a whole process in and of itself, and that was Mike. He is real. He's not.
I'm actually AI.
It's my AI friend. But yeah,
Hello world.
I used a lot of AI to make that, and I wanted to take a second to talk about that because in the creative space, I feel like AI is getting a lot of hate, and I feel like a lot of it is justified. You know, to be fair, people don't like it making art or any sort of like videos or lyrics or whatever. And I get that, but I think for me, the level that I'm at, it's mostly just me making these video it is just me making these videos, making these songs, recording them, mixing them, mastering them. I'm like a one-man band, but, like, for everything, you know? So having AI is just, like, amplified me, like, 10 times, you know? Like, I had the idea for the video. Hopefully, the story came through. But, I had the idea for the video, then I went on ChatGPT and worked out the shot list. So it, like, spit out a whole shot list for me. So when we were recording the video, I was like, "Oh, okay, cool. I got that scene." You know, click it off. Now I got the next scene, click it off. Um, which is huge. Like, for me to do that myself, like, we were even just talking a minute ago, Mike, about how, you're, like, mixing some songs or whatever, you're recording some stuff, and you were like, "Yeah, I was gonna mess with it, but then I laid down." Like, that's a real thing, you know? Like, I have a 9 to 5 job, you have a 9 to 5 job, like, we have whole other lives, and doing the not fun stuff sucks, you know? Like,
Part of life.
it's part of life, but, like, if there's a way to speed that up, I'm, like, so game for it, and that's what this was able to do for me, so I'm like, "Man."
Streamline.
Yeah, streamline and, like, just done, like, within an hour, I had my story solidified and I had the shot list done. Like, it's crazy. So then I used AI to create the background images. I used, Midjourney, which I like, I've used before, um, and it, like, got exactly what I wanted. Like, it looks how I want it to look, you know what I mean?
To the future.
Yeah, and, I could not afford to pay an artist to do all those, you know, or, like, revisions, going back and forth. Like, I would love to be at a place where I could involve multiple artists and be able to pay them, but I mean, I don't make money off this stuff. I don't even make any money for myself.
Wait, you make money?
Not anything for music. It's dismal at best.
What do you just do it because you like it?
Yes.
Really weird.
So yeah, like being able to, you know, over the course of a weekend, get a style down and get all the backgrounds. And then also I had the shot list still that I got from ChatGPT. So then I'm able to reference that as I'm generating the images. And then it's like, oh man.
That was really cool to see the process of that.
Yeah. And then, you know, I guess I do want to talk about this video did take a little bit longer to do, partly because of all that. Like, there was a learning curve for me, but it was also kind of terrifying because I was like venturing in. Like, when I'm doing music stuff, I'm very confident. I feel great about it. Like, easy peasy, let's go. Like, okay, now let's get to the mixing stage, blah, 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 whatever. But like doing the video stuff, I had this idea, but I was like, I don't know.
This is like uncharted territory.
Yes. Yes.
Realm.
Yeah, new realm. And we did a couple like test videos of using the green screen because I have one and I used it before, but I didn't know what I was doing before. And it looked bad. Like I was like, man.
I just remember within like a couple of like, I think it was like it came here a day, and then like a week later, you're like, dude, check this out. This is crazy. And I just remember like the exponential like progression of like the initial concept and then how quickly it just like came together really good.
Yeah, and that was me literally just sitting down and watching YouTube videos for like 4 hours one night.
Shedding,
Yeah. Yeah.
learning.
Yeah, just in there and being like, okay, now I click this button. Okay, pause the YouTube video. Now where am I going? But now I feel like really confident in it, and it's getting me excited to do the next one. I have a couple ideas. We've already talked about them a little bit. I don't want to say anything yet, but
Spoiler alert.
spoiler alert. No spoiler alert. There are no spoilers. But I know the gear I want to do, and I have a couple concepts. We can actually talk about that when this is over. But yeah, don't be afraid to use AI, especially if you're like a small team. If you're doing stuff by yourself, don't worry about it. Like if it can do stuff for you in a way that's like so productive like this, I don't know. I'm just like when it was done, even when I was showing you those little bits, I was like, holy shit. Like
The potential of like
yes.
is like the starting point, and you just keep learning. Like you can make it do whatever you want.
Yeah. Definitely check it out. And don't be afraid of it. It is awesome. But yeah, that's the Mystic by Recovery Effects. Thanks for watching and be ready for the next one.